The 5 errors that self-employed or micro-entrepreneur make in France. The easiest way to be registered as a self-employed in France is the status called micro-entrepreneur or auto-entrepreneur. These are the same things. You can register online without a professional assistance required from a lawyer or a chartered accountant. So it is pretty flexible and also entirely free. So if you have the relevant visa or residence permit, you can be a micro-entrepreneur in France too. And EU citizens can register as well. If you are not sure if your visa or residence permit allows you to be a micro-entrepreneur in France, you can watch the video up there or up there. But since no professional assistance is compulsory to create a micro-entrepreneur status, there are often mistakes done. Making mistakes is part of the entrepreneur journey and the expat journey too. But the more you can avoid them, the better, right? Bonjour, I'm Giga from the blog Expat in France. I'm a French serial expat and you will find here information about French admin and French culture to adjust to your French life. If you want to have more information about life in France as an expat and to navigate the French red tape, don't hesitate to subscribe to the channel and click on the bell to be informed of the new videos. So let's dive in. So the first mistake is to register too early your entrepreneur status. If you're under a profession libérale visa, you will need to justify your company or micro-entrepreneur registration when you request your residence permit before the end of the first year in France. You will already need to be invoicing clients and justify sufficient income. As a general rule, wherever you're from, European, non-European or even French, it is always better to register your status just before you start invoicing clients. As a micro-entrepreneur, there are several taxes and contributions and other expenses you will have. You can watch the video up there or up there to know more about it. Without getting into too many details now, one of the taxes you will need to pay is called the CFE, and you will be exempt from paying it from the first calendar year after your registration. So first, there is no need to register if you are not about to make money, and also it is not recommended to register your status at the end of the year, as you will get the exemption only for a few weeks, right? If you can wait until the beginning of the year, it can be worth doing it. Never register your status after invoicing your first clients. And also, it cannot be done before your arrival in France. It can seem a good idea to anticipate your paperwork and arrive as ready as possible in France. However, in France, you will need two main elements to be able to register as a self-employed under the micro-entrepreneur status. First, a French address to register your business, or you can choose to have a PO box. Also, you will need a French bank account, and to do that, you will need to have a French proof of address. So it is not possible to create your micro-entreprise without residing in France. In some instances you could, but always with the help of a lawyer. Then the second error is to choose the micro-entrepreneur status, since it is the easiest one to administer, without double-checking if the status is possible and relevant for your activity. There are some regulated professions that do not authorize to be run under the micro-entrepreneur status. The main ones are the ones related to numbers, like accountant, the law, like a lawyer, of course, and medical services. Also, depending on your activity, it may not be interesting financially to set up a micro-entrepreneur status. For example, if you have many business expenses or outsource a big part of your activity. There is no possibility to deduct expenses as a micro-entrepreneur, and also your social charges are calculated on your turnover and not your profit. Also, for many entrepreneurs, the micro-entrepreneur status is the first step before creating their company status. Micro-entrepreneur or not, you are still an entrepreneur with responsibilities towards your provider, your clients, the tax office, and URSSAF, the social contribution collector. So it is important to be informed, proactive, and fully take charge of your business and especially your obligations. I have created a quick guide to being a micro-entrepreneur in France. You can download it for free from the link under this video. Then the third error is not to beware of scams. Registration and micro-entrepreneur status administration is totally free in France. If you receive any requests of payments, to register to anything just after creating your micro-entrepreneur status, these are scams and you should not pay. The only required payment that you will need to do will be the social contributions to URSSAF, and this is done online on a secured platform. And of course, your annual income taxes to the French tax office. Then the fourth error is not to follow closely your turnover and neglect the VAT payments, the sales tax payments. As a micro-entrepreneur, there is a VAT exemption up to a certain turnover level. This means that before reaching this turnover, you don't need to charge it back to your client and include it on your invoices. Once you have reached the relevant threshold, you will need to pay the VAT to the relevant countries depending on where your clients are, and therefore invoice the sales taxes to your clients. So it is important to follow closely your turnover level and anticipate the VAT payment and get assistance if you need to be able to pay it or to switch to another company structure if it's more appropriate. Then the last mistake on this list is not to save money to be able to pay the social contributions, the income tax or the VAT. Many self-employed people started their career as employees and received a salary. Don't think your turnover is your salary. Make sure you save to be able to pay your taxes. To be safe, I'd recommend saving 40 to 50%
What? Wow. Ooh.
of your turnover to pay your taxes and fixed charges. You can also make a simulation of your social contribution on the English website created by URSSAF called mycompanyinfrance.fr. I hope this video will help you to avoid these 5 common mistakes done by entrepreneurs, foreigners, but also French people. If you found this video useful, you can like it and also download the quick guide to being a micro-entrepreneur in France by the link under this video. Merci et à bientôt!